Namaste, I am Mohini, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Government First Aid College, Bhatkal. Now let us start the session on span of management. In this session, we learn the meaning, types and examples, and also we understand organizational structure and the supervision in brief. Now here you can see two pictures. One is little taller and another is flatter. This taller span of management is called narrow span of management, and the here wider span of management is called, or flat span of management is called wide span of management. Now, prior to this, let us understand the meaning of span of management. Here, span of management is the number of people or subordinates that the manager can control and manage. The term span of management is also known as span of control and span of supervision. The number of people controlled by a manager means certain lot of certain here few members will be there in the group. In the group, how many people are there? They are being controlled by the manager. How many people are controlled by the manager is called span of management in simple. So now let us see the simple definition. Here according to Harold Kunz and Heinz Weyrich, span of management is the number of subordinates a manager can effectively supervise. Number of subordinates a manager can effectively supervise is the definition given by Harold Kunz and Heinz Weyrich. So, an organization, remember, an organization needs to maintain a balance between the number of employees within a team and the number of employees that a manager is responsible for taking care of. Remember, this is it is to be maintained in the organization. The balance between the number of employees within a team and the number of employees that a manager is responsible for taking care of. That is to be maintained in the organization. Usually it relies on the type and nature of the work in the organization. The span of control of a manager depends upon their subordinates, which can range from a few to 100. Few to a 100. Now, let us discuss different types of span of management. Mainly we have two types of span of management. One is narrow span, another is wide span. Narrow span means what? Already we have seen, we understood different types. Narrow span has a manager overseeing fewer subordinates. Few subordinates are there in the narrow span of management. So it results in a taller structures here. Taller structure means here it goes vertically. Few subordinates will be there. They are here controlled, supervised and managed by the manager. Another one is here in brief, wide span of management. Wide span of management here means a wide span means a manager oversees many subordinates leading to a flatter organizational structure. Many subordinates are controlled or supervised or managed by the managers. That's why the structure is here flat structure. So now let us here see in detail the different span of management. Now we know already the narrow span of management means fewer subordinates are handled, controlled and supervised by the manager. The features are here, very popular features are more hierarchical levels. Hierarchical levels more here, here top level management, middle level management, lower level management. Again below them some officers, some here clerks and all these come levels of management. Different here levels of management will be there. That's why it is taller and vertical in the format. Here this narrow span of management is having here more hierarchical levels. That's why it leads to slow communication, because there must be information flow in the management levels. But here, because of the narrow span of management, closer supervision is possible, because here the manager is supervising few subordinates. That's why close relationship and thorough supervision can be done in the narrow span of management. Now, in brief, we'll see the pros or the merits and the advantages of this narrow span of management. Better control is possible because the supervisor is handling few subordinates, so he can control, direct, guide them. That's why here better control is possible, closer supervision is possible, greater opportunities for employee for their development, and stronger manager and subordinate relationship is possible in narrow span of management. And when the span of management is narrow, recording is easy. So, with the help of recorded reports, recorded ideas, recorded data, the reporting can be done. Clear reporting also can be submitted or done. Then, what are the demerits or disadvantages or cons of this narrow span of management? Slower decisions, because here there are different levels of hierarchy. This different levels of hierarchy leads flow of information. Flow of information here in the different levels of hierarchy leads to delayed decision. So slow decisions are here possible in this narrow span of management. So it leads to higher cost, because many managers are to be appointed, levels of management is there. That's a higher cost of delayed decision. All this leads to higher cost and increase management cost, lower decision making, and potential for communication bottlenecks due to more hierarchical levels are the drawbacks of narrow span of management. If you want to see some examples, Toyota, they follow narrow span of management, and our military also follows this kind of span of management. Now let us see what is your wider span of management. You know that here wider span of means a manager oversees many subordinates. That's why it leads to flatter organizational structure. Many subordinates are controlled, supervised by the manager. Now let us see features. Here fewer levels of management will be there. Many management levels will not be there, like narrow span of management. In the narrow span of management, different levels of management, many levels of management is there. Here fewer levels of management is there. That's why they can enjoy more independence, autonomy. They can enjoy this in the wide span of management. This year, fewer hierarchy levels, fewer lower management costs, and faster communication flow between management levels. All these are possible in wide span of management. Now, let us see the pros or the advantages or merits of wide span of management. Here, faster decisions are can be taken, because levels of management are very less here, and it leads to improved communication. It is very cost effective, because reduced costs are due to fewer managers. Fewer managers we find in the wide span of management, because levels of management are less here. Then now we'll see costs or the cons or the disadvantages or the demerits of wide span of management. Here managerial overload. Managers are overloaded with the here large supervision. It leads to potential for decreased supervision, and limited opportunity for employee development, and difficulty in maintaining close relationship between manager and subordinates are very common in wide span of management. Now, always you remember, the span of management is decided by several factors. These several factors influence the effectiveness of wide or narrow span of management. These factors include nature of work. If the nature of work is repetitive and standardized task, then wide span of management is suitable. If the work is complex one, specialized task, they all require narrow span of management. Then employee competence or subordinate capacity also here uh, one of the factors to decide the span of management. If the subordinates are highly skilled and motivated subordinates, here the span of the wide span of management is effective. If the subordinates are unskilled, they are not motivated, they are to be motivated, then obviously there is a need of narrow span of management. Then this managerial capacity or manager's experience also counts for that. If the managers are experienced and they are having a strong leadership skill, they can effectively manage the large teams. If they are new one, they are not experienced, then obviously there is a need of narrow span of management. Nowadays, technology or the AI tools plays very important role. If the organization is well versed with all these technologies and AI tools and all this, then wide span of management is okay. But the management is not technologically updated or normal technology is there, because nowadays we can't say that there is no technology. The technology is very common in all the organization. That's why if the technology or the AI tools are not updated or standardized, here things are not there, then obviously there is a need of narrow span of management. Then always a decentralized structure allows managers to focus on fewer subordinates. Is here. This is also, these are all the here factors which affect the selection of span of management. Now let us conclude this session. We'll see in the next session. Until then, thank you.